Hey guys, it's Jake, back with another video. Like I told you, 2 videos this week. This one that you heard, if you watched the video from yesterday about Lil Altar Boy, you would have recognized the sample from that video. We're just going to do a full breakdown of this track. I think it's a good track, recorded well. He had a good performance. It's not the end of the world if you don't have that pro gear. You know, everybody has to start somewhere, and you could get great recordings on less. If your performance, like I said, is awesome, you can get away with a lot. A lot of these guys coming up now, I'm sure you heard some of their earlier stuff. A lot of it's not recorded in a professional studio. You know, you got to work with what you got. So we're going to break it down. I did things a bit differently in this video. Just, I don't know, sometimes you get bored doing it one way. And it goes to show that there's not just one way of mixing vocals or any type of instrument. All right, so let's jump into it real quick. First, we'll just go over the beat. I didn't do any of these beat drops or record slowdowns or anything like that. There was one reversal of a part of a beat I did, but we won't go over that. What I did do though is there's this section where there's just this gap where he has some of his ad-libs going right here, but nothing else really. And so I thought it was a good time to do a frequency sweep, just so the beat's not just doing its thing over and over and over and over and over again throughout the song. You kind of want to change it up. In my mind, that's how I like to listen to things. I think some rap songs they could use that, you know. Even if the performance is great, why not give them a bit more to listen to? So, and how we did that is we automated this frequency knob. So I set the Q and everything. So the Q is affecting that bump, which I think is a major thing about these sweeps. You need this bump. I think they call it like a resonant sweep. You'll see it in some EQs, which will automatically have this bump here. So I'm just telling Pro Tools, hey, sweep this frequency up. So we're going from, where are we starting at? 102 hertz. So pretty low and all the way up. And I also have a master bypass, because once we get to the high end, I don't want that bump to be EQing the beat the whole time. So we cut it on and off. So let's watch this frequency sweep play out, and then you guys could use this trick, on your beats. Sorry about that. I got everything disabled and it doesn't sound as well, but that showed you the little sweep. But we'll get into the vocals. I mix this one a bit differently. I'm sure if you guys catch a lot of my mixing videos, you see I kind of do things in a very similar order for every track. But this one just kind of shows you can do things differently. I think this was right when I got the Acme compressor, and it has a mix knob. So you can do parallel compression within the plugin itself. You don't have to route anything, which saves time. And so I think that's why I did it in this one. I wanted to check it out. So I have everything disabled. First plugin I went with it was Soothe. I'm just trying to clean up some of these higher end frequencies in the 8K, the 16K, and it's also treating some of this muddy area.
Shawty geeked up, she ain't playing fair, yeah. Hey, $1,000 bottles, who all paying it, yeah. Diamond jumping on me, got a cane, yeah. Hey.
Sorry about the level difference. I'm gonna get better at level matching, so when I go back and do these videos, the volumes aren't jumping up and getting real low, depending on what's enabled and disabled, because I can really play a trick on your ear. If something just gets louder, even if you did nothing to it, it's going to sound better. So after Soothe, and Soothe is just, like I said, it's just cleaning up some of the little issues. I do my, my subtractive EQ. I try to separate things, but like I said, there's no one way of doing something, not one way, it's not correct doing it this way or that way. It's what works for you and what sounds good. That's all what matters. So I'm just cutting out a bit of 500 hertz, a bit of 275, and then I'm, cutting all this low end mud out. Just get rid of that. You'll never need it. So we'll do a before and after.
Sleeping at the club like I'm staying there, yeah. Shawty geeked up, she ain't playing fair, yeah. Hey, $1,000 bottles, who all paying it, yeah. Diamond jumping on me, got a cane, yeah. Hey.
All right, so you hear it's not taking up as much of the space. That's how I feel. After that, we went to our pitch correction, and yes, I'm using Waves Tune Real Time. Yes, I do own Auto-Tune Pro now, but Waves Tune Real Time sounds awesome on a lot of stuff. So if you're kind of like bummed that you can't afford it or whatever, don't worry. Get Waves Tune Real Time. It's going to work well for the majority of stuff. There's just a bit more bells and whistles in Auto-Tune Pro, and that's like with a lot of these plugins, like that compressor. I have other compressors that I used before I got this, but it didn't have a dry wet mix knob. I mean, this one is a bit different. It normal and fast mode imparts a little bit of distortion, which is fine, but a compressor is a compressor. Yeah, there's different types, but you pay more and you get a bit more bells and whistles, which this one has. So we're not going to A and B Waves Tune Real Time. You guys know what's going on there. So, like I said, I use the Acme compressor, and I use on normal, so I'm going to get a bit of distortion, but also, and I'm pushing it, you're going to see gain reduction up here like at 15. I'm only doing 38%, so you got to take that into account. I'm not going full whole hog on the compression.
Sleeping at the club like I'm staying there, yeah. Shawty geeked up, she ain't playing fair, yeah. Hey, $1,000 bottles, who all paying it, yeah. Diamond jumping.
All right. And even though I'm soloing this to let you guys hear it, never, when I do my subtractive, I will do that in solo and like Soothe, because you're really trying to listen to it finely. Is that a word? Am I using that word right? So I will solo the vocals at that point, but when I get to my compressor, everything else afterwards, maybe my de-essing, but for the most part, I will mix it with the beat playing. So just do that also, because you got to see how it fits with everything else. You can't do everything in a vacuum. But for this purpose of showing you guys, I'm going to be soloing it. So after that, we get to our SSL channel. And what we're doing is we're boosting a bit at 2.5K, bringing a bit more body, not much. What I love to do is using this higher range at 7K and at 3.6, and I think it just opens the vocals up. That mid range just opens up. I don't do any high end boosting. I'm using the mag for that, and some lower end frequencies too on the mag. And I'm using some of the compression, kind of fast release, about 4-to-1 ratio.
Sleeping at the club like I'm staying there, yeah. Shawty geeked up, she ain't playing fair, yeah. Hey, $1,000 bottles, who all paying it, yeah. Diamond jumping on me, got it cane, yeah. Hey, 100,000 Benji, got it lame, yeah. 100 different models, got them lame, yeah.
So you see with my compression, I'm only tapping those peaks about, at most 3 dB. I'm going to disable and enable the EQ just so you can check out the difference that makes. I'll start it disabled and we'll pop it in.
Sleeping at the club like I'm staying there, yeah. Shawty geeked up, she ain't playing fair, yeah. Hey, $1,000 bottles, who all paying it, yeah. Diamond jumping on me, got it cane, yeah. Hey, 100,000 Benji, got it lame, yeah. 100 different models, got them lame, yeah.
Now we're going to go on to the high end. On this one, I really boosted it a lot at 10K. And then I also boosted at 1.4K. I boosted 1.5. So we'll check that out. We'll play this actually with the beat.
Sleeping at the club like I'm staying there, yeah. Shawty geeked up, she ain't playing fair, yeah. Hey, $1,000 bottles, who all paying it, yeah. Diamond jumping on me, got it cane, yeah.
And then after that, I went super heavy with compression on my RVox, and we'll check that out. It's going to go back down in volume, and then it's going to come back up again on the dopamine. I'm sorry.
Sleeping at the club like I'm staying there, yeah. Shawty geeked up, she ain't playing fair, yeah. Hey, $1,000 bottles, who all paying it, yeah. Diamond jumping on me, got it cane.
And then on dopamine, I'm just adding a bit more harmonics, and I push more of the wet signal than the dry on this. I just love this plugin. Guys really need to check this out.
Sleeping at the club like I'm staying there, yeah. Shawty geeked up, she ain't playing fair, yeah. Hey, $1,000 bottles, who all paying it, yeah. Diamond jumping on me, got it cane, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see the edge dopamine gives. I just love that edge to the vocals it gives. It's letting it sit and still cut through. And then just de-essing. I'm not going to go over that. And then what I did is I have a width, which is just my doubler. It's just the default without the center sent to it, sending out from it. Then I have a delay 1, which is, it's like a distorted 1/2 note, and it's bouncing around with Pan Man at 1/4. We'll check that out. And I believe I'm automating it. Yeah. So this is how I do delay throws. Before I go and automate the mute, I get all my levels right, how I want the delay to sound and everything. I'll go through and get this all right. I usually always do a half delay and, get my distortion right. How I want the sound, because then I need to start playing with the mute and I'll get the level right. So it's at, I'm here on my send. And then I'm just going about unmuting sections of his vocals that I want to hear delayed. So we'll check it out.
Sleeping at the club like I'm staying there, yeah. Shawty geeked up, she ain't playing fair, yeah. Hey, $1,000 bottles, who all paying it, yeah. Diamond jumping on me, got it cane, yeah. Hey, 100,000 Benji.
Like always, I love Pan Man. He saves me a ton of time. So after that, I have delay 2, So delay 2 is a 4th note. And what I'm doing with it is I'm setting it up, but this is a shorter delay, so it's kind of adding dimension. And I'm using it on this parts where he teases out words in his song. You'll see.
100,000 Benji got it lame, yeah. 100 different models got 'em lame, yeah. Gunning on the throttle, I ain't playing, yeah.
So that's without the effect. When we put it on, it just kind of more of space to it.
100,000 Benji got it lame, yeah. 100 different models got 'em lame, yeah. Gunning on the throttle, I ain't playing, yeah. All them bullets hollow, it ain't raining, yeah. All them
Right on. Kind of, you're changing up more. I mean, like, let's listen to this section now. Even before we put the reverb in, let's just listen to all the different things that are going on around his vocals that support his performance.
Drinking at the club like I'm staying there, yeah. Shawty geeked up, she ain't playing fair, yeah. Hey, $1,000 bottles, who all paying it, yeah. Diamond jumping on me, got a cane, yeah. Hey, 100,000 Benji got it lame, yeah. 100 different models got 'em lame, yeah. Gunning on the throttle, I ain't playing, yeah. All them bullets hollow, it ain't raining, yeah.
So you already got like a bunch going on. It's not like so apparent to the listener that they're like, oh, I noticed this delay is just super loud in my ears or whatever. It's subtle, but it's there. One other thing I would do, like if I didn't have his pitch correction all the way cranked up all the way, let's say you had something he didn't want as heavy. On these sections that were doing that quarter note delay, I would automate to crank it all the way hard because he's getting, he sings a bit right there. And so I think will sound better. It will do something different. You're always trying to switch it up. So after that, we're doing our reverb. And because I use Lil Plate, I need to add a few other plugins. Because Lil Plate, even though it sounds nice, doesn't have every control I need in it. If you use something like Reverb, it's going to be like all these controls will be in it except for like Decapitator. First thing is I'm using a delay with no feedback. I'm taking off analog because who needs that? Is the pre-delay. So that just adds a bit more of space to let your vocals cut, but still have that reverb. If you have a lot of reverb going on with no pre-delay, your vocals are going to be back here. That's the effect you get from reverb, is it pulls you back from the mic, from the listener. And I even get down to like 1/64th. After that, I use Decapitator. I haven't been doing this part of the reverb chain as much lately. A good use out of this is you're getting tone. So if you want your reverb a bit brighter or darker, this is a good way to do that. Then after that, I go and EQ my reverb. So we're going to put the reverb on pre. I'm going to bring it all the way up. I'm a solo. And I'm going to bypass the EQ, and we're going to listen to the reverb before and after the EQ. And then we'll do it with the vocals and sit correctly, and you'll see a difference. Now let's put, it was at -22. Let's bypass the reverb. Let's take this all off. Let's see how this reverb sits within the mix without the EQ.
Those who are paying it, diamond jumping on me, got it cane, yeah. 100,000 Benji got it lame, yeah. 100 different models got 'em lame, yeah. Gunning on the throttle, I ain't playing, yeah. All them bullets hollow, it ain't raining, yeah. All them foreigns borrowed, you ain't ganging, yeah.
So just kind of cleaning it up a bit. That, like I said about that low end, you really got to watch it. It can build up and build up. And, your mix just gets muddy. I came down to the ad-libs. I just copied over what I had. The difference is I got Pan Man. He's doing some work back here. He's making movements. He's back here just moving the ad-libs around instead of just leaving everything down the center where they can get kind of lost. Put them to the side, and you don't have to mess with the volume that much. They'll be hearable. If you put them down the middle, they're fighting that space with the main vocals, so then you're going to have to bring them up in volume, and then it just gets messy. On here, I have the width somewhat smaller in scope. You could go all the way max, and then things are going like right and left, all the way to the sides. Then I think it gets a bit too noticeable. You still want to work within the frame of the beat. If the beat's not going out that far, your ad-libs it can sound kind of crazy. Then I came here and had some fun. That Altar Boy video is just explanation of this, but I duplicated the lead vox because this is kind of like the outro. I kind of like to make things hit a bit differently. Just what I've been saying this whole video is just change things up. Let the listeners hear something different. We automated the volume, so the pitch down one is going to be more audible than the dry version, and then they kind of cross over, and the clean one becomes more audible, and the one that we tweaked with Altar Boy kind of fades out. Unfortunately, I just used little Altar Boy as audio suite plugin and just affected that whole audio clip. So I can't show you the settings, but just mess around. To have these unlinked and mess around with their controls independently of each other, and you can get some cool sounds. That's really just a plugin that you gotta play with. Not one setting works with everything. I think it's really dependent on the voice, the beat. You can't really just say, oh, it worked on Jake did it like this on this video. I'm going to do like that on here, and it's going to work. It's going to give me this cool effect. It might not. You might have to sit down and just play with it. That's the fun part. And then you learn more about your plugin. And then you'll stop watching these videos, and I'll be sad. But you know what? I'll know you've grown as a person, which is good to hear. Good to see. But that's it, guys. Hold up a sec. I just want to tell you, I forgot one thing about the reverb. Is that with reverb, you want to watch out for how you're timing your decay on your reverb. So on my little plate, I'm 1.61. And what I do is I take my BPM, I tap it out, and my tempo is 158, right? So I go to this awesome website, nickfever.com/music/delay-calculator. I type in my delay, my BPM here, and it's going to give me my timing for note, half note, quarter note, because you kind of want the decay to hit in time. It just sounds better. Use this as a key. So 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second, right? So this is 1.51 milliseconds, and I am at 161. I could go there. Just keep that in mind. And that'll kind of help with your reverb delay time, your reverb decay times. Also, I have a Fiverr page, guys. If you want to check me out. If you need any work, hit me up, JakeH111 on Fiverr. Just fiverr.com/JakeH111. Here's my gig. And before you actually order a gig, just contact me, and it allows me to make a custom gig. I can make a custom gig for premium, and I'll do it for $70 instead of $75 for subscribers to the channel. So check it out, please. Thank you. I will see you guys next week. Peace.
Me the $100, now they showing love.